What's up, hockey fans and hockey fanatics out there? Welcome to episode 14 of the Hockey Lounge. It is Monday, July 12th, 2021, and we are rocking the lounge live tonight at 9 p.m. We have three guests in the lounge tonight. We have Apple, Paul Santi, and Brandon Burlon. We're going to have a blast tonight. It's going to be a fun podcast. We're going to be talking about Sorry, I got an echo happening here, maybe from one of the guys, but we're going to have some fun being the GM of the night. We've taken the top 5 teams from the betting odds that Vegas put out last week, and we're going to break them down. We've given each guest and myself the top 4 teams, and the 5th team is, of course, your own blue and white Toronto Maple Leafs. Apple doesn't like being the GM of that team. But we're going to break down the Leafs at the end of this podcast from all of us. We're going to put together a roster from Burlon, Santi, myself, and Apple. But first off, we're going to get into a few NHL's news and notes for the weekend. First off, today's big news is the Duncan Keith trade. We were just talking about this offline. He is now an Edmonton Oiler. He went to Edmonton for Caleb Jones and a 3rd-round draft pick. So that's an interesting trade. We'll go around the horn, think of that, and talk about that. In terms of the GM meetings, the biggest news out of the GM's meetings today, there was an Olympic update, and still no resolution yet in terms of or clarity if the NHL players will be going to the Olympics next year. They wanted to have that clarified before the draft on July 21st or 23rd, sorry. And there's still no clarity to that. Guys, I'm not sure who has that mic. That's a little bit rocking tonight, but it's sort of I'm hearing myself twice here tonight.
It might be me. I don't have headphones in. 1 second.
Okay, thanks.
Let's sort this
No
out.
worries. Yeah, no problem. So let's go around the horn here, guys, in terms of the Duncan Keith trade. Apple, your thoughts on that?
I honestly don't know what the Oilers are thinking. I think he's ready to retire. He's slowed down. I don't think he can play the hockey that Edmonton wants to play. I don't see how he can possibly keep up to getting up the ice the way they want to get up the ice with some speed. I honestly do not understand the move from the Oilers' part. I think there's other guys they could have gone after in free agency and whatnot that would have been just as good as Keith, but a faster player, a younger, faster player.
Mm-hmm. Paul.
No bueno, man. Too many miles. Too many miles, too much hockey for that guy.
Yeah.
And it's like reminiscent of all the guys coming back to Toronto to retire. So they're not deep enough, okay? They're not deep enough to throw these charity position minutes. Like, they need to focus on depth, and then if they can throw them in, great. If not, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, no, we talked about this on Thursday last week about the rumors of Duncan Keith going to Paul. You might want to check your headset there, bud. It might be you.
Yeah, it's
just
not me.
Yeah, just try going mute there for a sec. Yeah, it's you, Paul. So I'm not sure what headset you got to use there, bud. Burlon, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, you're good? Yeah. All right. So in terms of Duncan Keith going, we talked about it last Thursday, and realistically, like you guys have said, not sure what direction they want to take here. Edmonton likes to play that fast, freewheeling hockey. Listen, Keith is an awesome defenseman. He's played his time in Chicago. He was part of that core of Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane. Multiple cups there, 3 cups, fantastic team at the peak with Brent Seabrook. Burlon, you're a D. What do you think of Duncan Keith going to Edmonton?
Well, you look at their D core right now. You got Darnell Nurse, he's 26 years old. Ethan Bear, 24. Evan Bouchard, 21. Philip Roberg, 21. A lot of young D.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Russell, I don't know offhand, but he's unrestricted at the end of next year. Even though Duncan Keith is commanding 5.5 for the next 2 years and then becomes unrestricted, I think it's one of those those situations we talked about, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
An Andy Green for all those young D in Long Island. Chris Russell eats a lot of pucks, great in the penalty kill, but Duncan Keith, he's obviously played, like you said, with Taves, Hossa, all those guys.
Yeah.
Very offensive. He has those offensive capabilities, and I think that's kind of what Edmonton lacks, is those offensive capabilities. And I think he can guide those guys into being more productive on the back end.
It definitely, again, like you said, that Andy Green type of player that bring in the veteran leadership, and we talked about this with multiple teams in the playoffs, guys that have cups to their names. It's really big in the room,
Yep.
And I think maybe that's what they're bringing him in there for, just that veteran leadership to calm the guys down, right?
Well, it's like we talked about, Paul and I, and yourself. We talked about that off air like last week about that presence that some guys bring, and I think Edmonton's one of those positions where, Connor McDavid is your captain. You got Darnell Nurse there, but really no one on that team has won anything.
Yeah.
When you think about it,
Yeah.
right? Even with Colorado, Nathan McKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog, but they haven't won anything at the NHL level. Duncan Keith, he's earned his stripes. He's one of those guys that, regardless of his age, I think he's 37 now. Okay, regardless of his age and how fast he is or whatever anymore, he commands that respect, right?
For sure.
Look at Andy Green. Andy Green won a cup with New Jersey. He knows how to get things done. So again, I think it's one of those situations where they're bringing him in, albeit an expensive substitute teacher type deal.
Yeah.
But they're maybe looking to get their D in the right point, their young D in the right direction moving forward.
I think I agree with what you guys are saying about he's won the cups and he's been there a while. I just think at the defensive position, you can't necessarily do what Montreal did and get away with it with the 4D playing all the time. And I don't know if they plan on playing him in the top four, but I think if they could have at least tried to get like a forward in the same kind of role that's won multiple cups, that's got some leadership, that they could at least bury on possibly the third or fourth line, but still have that presence in the dressing room, I think would have been better served doing that. Because I think, again, going back to the playoff hockey, the speed and everything like that, like you got Adam Larson. I understand he's a free agent, everything like that, but he reminds me of that he's now slower of foot because, like we said, past his prime. I just don't know if he's going to become a defensive liability for them when it really matters. That's my only concern.
Yeah.
But that's when you have to give your young guys the opportunity to grow into those roles, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
You look at a lot of them, aside from Chris Russell, who after next year, he's unrestricted. They're going to have to go to these guys like Broberg, Bouchard, and they're going to have to rely on Bear. And they'll pick up another couple of guys. Like they're losing Larson at what here? At just over $4 million. Okay, they're going to lose Tyson Barrie to free agency at $3.7 million. So they've already they're already up, 2 and change on even though they brought in Keith. So
should be interesting to see. Again, I think that's the first domino to fall here in the next couple of weeks. With you got the expansion draft to Seattle next week. And then you got the NHL draft and you have free agency. So busy couple of weeks here. And, once these trades start to come down, you have the Keith trade. Who knows if Eichel gets traded within the next, 10 days here. So should be interesting to see. It's a fun time of year for sure right now if you're an NHL fan because, it's a short off season. And we're going to be right back at it, in about 6 weeks here with training camps opening up and everything like that. So, all right. So GM for the night. I know that, again, there's been a lot of banter back and forth how we're going to do this. So what we've done is, again, we've taken the 5 teams from Vegas on who they think the top 5 teams are to win the Stanley Cup and to throw in the back-to-back Tampa Bay Lightning. And they are Colorado, which is Apple is the GM of Colorado tonight, even though he's got Juventus, Italia stuff on. Not sure where he's going representing there, but okay. Congrats, Staley, for winning the Euros. Berlon's drinking water there for everybody, just to let them know that. Santi's got the water bottle happening tonight. I think we're a dry lounge tonight here.
It was a tough day yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. So we got the top 5 teams. So if Apple's the Colorado GM, I am the GM of the Vegas Knights. Berlon is partying with Cooch today. He's the GM of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And you have Mr. Santi is the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes. And then the 5th place team is the Toronto Maple Leafs with the betting odds there. We'll go over the betting odds before we start this show here in terms of going around the horn for GM. But Toronto and Boston were tied. But, of course, what we're going to do with the Leafs here, all of us are going to be the GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That'll be later on. We've all put together a team for the Leafs. And to make this even more fun, what we're going to do is each guest is going to be sending me their roster. We're going to put that roster on NHL 21. And we are going to sim their rosters in a regular season and see how far these GMs know how to get their teams. Okay? So that will be done by a couple of my sons. They'll get that going in the next couple of days. We'll have fun with that. And we'll have the results of the sim seasons next week. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so going to give you the betting odds here for the top 5 teams here, guys. Just give me one sec. Get that out for you. All right. So we have Colorado's 5-1, Vegas is 6-1, Tampa 7-1, Carolina is 11-1, Toronto's 14-1, with Boston being tied 14-1. So, App, you are on the clock. You are the GM of the Colorado Avalanche. What we're looking for here for the viewers is 12 forwards, 6D, 2 goalies. You have to stay within the $82 million cap, as well as what we've done is the players that are being selected are going off the cap from last season. So if the cap hit for Landeskog was 5.5, yes, he is going to get a raise for sure in the offseason. We all know that. But you are allowed to select Landeskog at 5.5. You are allowed to make trades for to free up cap space here, not to get players back in return. So, Apple, your Colorado Avalanche. They lost to the Vegas Knights.
Sure. Okay, what I've done for the Avs, I've kept the following. I've kept Mikko Rantanen, McKinnon, Landeskog, I've re-signed, Burakovsky, Kadri, Donskoy, TJ Comfer, and Nikushkin. I have all of them returning. I've let Brendan Saad walk as a UFA.
Okay.
So and also the Carl Soderberg, I let him walk. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, I let him walk. Tyson Jost, all the lower tier guys. I've added Mike Hoffman. I've added Mike Hoffman basically to replace Saad's production. I've added Michael Granlund. As free agent, I've added Casey Cizikas and Joel Armia up front. So that gives me 12.
So your 12 forwards are up?
Rantanen, McKinnon, Landeskog, Hoffman, Burakovsky, Kadri, Donskoy, Comfer, Nikushkin, Granlund, Cizikas, and Armia. Those are my 12 forwards.
So what were your thoughts putting these 12 forwards together? The additions of Granlund, Cizikas, Armia.
I basically tried to improve their bottom 6. I think the top 6 are pretty good. They're well scoring forwards. I added Hoffman because he was a little bit less of a hit than Saad was, and I think Saad is I think he's reached the ceiling. He's been moving around now from team to team here, so I don't think you're going to get much more out of him than what you got last year.
Okay. All right, and your D.
The D. Okay, so I kept Samuel Girard, Devin Toews, Ryan Graves, Cale Makar. So I kept those 4. Now Eric Johnson has serious health issues, so we're probably going to leave him unprotected for Seattle to take a $6 million hit. If not, he's probably. I'm going to assume we're going to put him on long-term IR because he's still having issues with the check he took in the play. His head is just not there. He's having serious issues with his post-concussion syndrome.
So that's interesting you said that up because I just read an article today. It just popped out on Twitter here that the Avs most likely are buying out.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
interesting.
You're on point there. Yep.
So the 2 defensemen that I've added are Dmitry Kulikov and Riley from Boston. So I took 2 guys that were in the $1.1 million range, just because I wanted to save a lot of money for my goaltending, which is, you all know, looking behind me, if you don't have good goaltending, you ain't winning nothing.
Yeah.
So my 6 defensemen are Gerard, Taves, Graves, Makar, Kulikov, and Riley. My goalies, I went out and I got Tuukka Rask as my starter, just on a 2-year deal, hoping for a 2-year deal sort of thing. Obviously, it's not long-term, his age. And as his backup, I wanted to bring in Linus Ullmark from Buffalo because I think he's a capable NHL goalie from what I've seen from him.
So interesting. Santi, what are your thoughts here? He just brought in 2 new goalies into the system or into the team. He said, you know what? Grubauer, take a hike. And the French guy, what's his name? Franchise from Dubnik. That's right, Dubnik. That's right, yeah, Dubnik. So he's out. So 2 new goalies. What are your thoughts there? Tuukka Rask.
Well, is he not? I'm hearing that he's going to retire. Is this not the case that he's retiring and he's gone?
You never know with him. I think he's a little bit offside up in the head there a little, so you're not sure what you're going to get with Tuukka, right? He just might walk out on you like he did in the bubble, right? So Julian says pretty stacked team. Julian says
I was actually, Paul. I actually mulled that over a lot, thinking of, because I heard the same thing about Rask. For me, I was choosing between him and Rene. They were the 2 free agent goalies.
Yeah, but Rene you can't take, man.
Rene,
old buddy.
Yeah, Rene. You know what? Listen,
he's old.
You need a walker with that guy too, if you get him. Right?
But I think right now, the way Colorado's looking right now is they want to win right now.
Right.
I think they're going to worry about 2 and 3 years from now. 2 and 3 years from now. Like, I think they have to upgrade either way. I don't think Grubauer is the guy to take him there, unless there's a major trade made with another team. Out of the goalies that are available, there's not
much.
If
you have the cap space, why wouldn't you take Tuukka Rask?
Exactly.
He's the best guy out there.
Right.
And goaltending, like I just think they need to beef up a little bit, and goaltending is probably where was their Achilles heel. So of course, why not take Tuukka Rask?
Right. Makes
kind of sense.
Who are your centermen there again?
McKinnon, Kadri.
Yeah.
I had it broken down tonight. McKinnon, Kadri,
Granlund,
and Cizikas.
Because I'm gonna Jamie Campbell. Julian sucks at fantasy hockey. Beautiful. I love it. Here we go. Julian, you got a fan out there. So when I look at my teams, guys, like I agree with you totally. The back end, the goalie, you start from the back end, goalie, defense. But I'm so focused on, of course, I want a number 1 stud in the net, not Tristan Jarry. But the centermen are very key for me from 1 to 4, right? Because if you don't have the 1 to 4, we've seen it. You look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, 1 to 4, they're solid. Even if some of them are no-name guys, right? They're getting paid that 1.2 like you did up. I think that's the way to go, right? I think if you have everything tied up front and with a couple guys in the back end, but so we're going to go.
Vasilevsky.
Vasilevsky, exactly, for sure. Paul, I'm going to go to you. I'm going to go just this way here. So the Carolina Hurricanes. I know, Paul, you were really on their bandwagon this playoff.
Big time, buddy.
They played, So what did you do to improve them?
I did a couple things. So I think I should preface it by saying I don't think they need a lot of changes. I just think they need to beef up a little bit at the back end, and they have to figure out goaltending. So I think the reason why they were not as I thought they could have got really far. They play with like tremendous speed, but they've got an inexperienced back end, and their goaltending, I think, is what really cost them the Tampa series. Like Vasilevsky outplayed Nedeljkovic by a country mile. So if the Carolina Hurricane brass, which if you read, because since we found out the show, I've been like a Carolina junkie, okay? The people in Carolina, or the executives and the coaches, think that Nedeljkovic is a long-term number one goaltender.
Right.
So I'm going with that in mind. They know better than me, but if that's what they're saying, then I'm going to listen to them. They think that Nedeljkovic is their number one. So say goodbye to James Reimer. Say goodbye to Peter Mrazek.
Mm-hmm.
So based on who's out there, you need a veteran guy that can still play, share the net, because I'm a firm believer based on what Carey Price was able to do on workload and managing workload, okay? A la Kawhi Leonard type stuff, okay? And you take a look at the numbers, and Mike Smith was phenomenal last year. He's not going to come in and want to steal the net. He's cheap at $1.5 million, .923 save percentage, went something like 21-6. He'll be comfortable in that role, helping the Nedeljkovic along. And if he falls on his face, Smith can take the net. Is he an ideal solution? No, but there's really nobody else unless you're going to go get Frederik Andersen. Frederik Andersen's not going to take that. He's not going to take. I don't think he's going to take that, and I don't think you want to put. If you believe Nedeljkovic is your guy, you're not going to bring in Freddie Andersen and cause a shit show there. Okay, because you're going to take all the confidence away from the young kid. Okay, so it's like it's a very strategic play, trying to fit the right piece for the puzzle. Okay, so that's what I did with goaltending. Added Mike Smith, said bye to Mrazek and Reimer. Then at the back end, okay, can you hear me? Okay, or am I cutting it out?
No, you're good. You're good. There's a little bit of a knock, but it's okay. Go ahead.
So at the back end, the first thing I'm doing is I'm buying out Jake Gardiner. Okay, and it's going to cost $1.2 million. I thought he was shit in Toronto, and my opinion about him is not going to change. He's just completely in the wrong lineup. He's completely ineffective. Okay, and he's a pure complementary piece on a back end that's stacked. These guys aren't stacked enough. Okay,
maybe the Oilers will pick him up.
He's shit, man. Go ahead. I've never been a Jake Gardiner fan, man. Just not the way. He plays rover. He doesn't play defense. He plays rover. Anyways, so if you're going to be able to sign Dougie Hamilton for $575, then I sign Dougie Hamilton for $575.
Yeah.
I'm not signing him for $10 million though. I'm telling you that straight up. But if we're playing this game, it's $575. Okay? I'm signing Bean for another $863.
Yeah.
And then I'm going out and I'm getting Ryan Murray from New Jersey at 4.6. And I'm getting Jamie Alexiak at 6'7" at $2.1 million.
A big rig.
To bring some big beef, man.
Yeah.
To just beef it up.
Yeah.
And do nothing other than pound people. He doesn't have to do anything else. Just he has to go 0 points and play even and just beat the shit out of people. Okay? That's all he's gonna do. Play tough. Okay? So that's what I'm doing at the back end, right?
Yeah.
And Ryan Murray is another very beautiful piece. 1 goal, 27 assists, steady Eddie, 6'1", very good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing there, and I'm keeping the rest of the core the same.
Okay.
So we're pretty good at the back end.
Yeah.
Then up front, I don't think a lot needs to change, right? Like, I think they're so good. So you got Svechnikov, you're going to sign him. Now, they're going to be forced to sign him to a 10-year goddamn deal like all these other teams, right, to get the AAV down, right, which is like bullshit, but that's the way the system works. So you're going to be forced into that horse shit.
Yeah.
Then I'd keep Martin Hook. He wears a letter, and he plays the game the right way, and he's a big boy. So I really, really want to keep him.
He's so underrated. He's an underrated player.
He's so legit, man.
Yeah, he's a good player.
That's the guy that the Leafs need. The Leafs need those dudes, man.
Yeah.
And then
that's for later in the show, Paul.
I know, but you can't get this guy, okay? But I'm going out and I'm getting Casey Cizikas, responsible up the middle. He can complement Stahl, and I'm going out and I'm getting Barkley Goodrow.
Nice.
And that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm doing up front.
That's what you're doing up front. Yeah.
So, Paul, you getting rid of Brock McGinn?
Yeah, letting him walk, letting Warren Fogle walk too. He's an RFA, and I'm letting him. I'm letting him walk or trade. I try to trade him for a pick if we have to trade him for a pick.
Yeah,
for a pick. Warren Fogle wants a little more action, and I don't think he's going to be able to fit in with the horses they have up front.
All right. So that is your team, and your big pickup is more on the back end here, right? You're getting more beefier, you think? Or I like that. It seems like Goudreau and Cizikas are going to be, I think, some favorites here, going around the horn.
Those are the two. Those are the two guys that take for the blue and white. So. and the defensemen are the same thing. I don't take Ryan Murray because he has too much money for the Leafs, so I go out and I get another guy.
Yeah,
but Alexiak is like that's what you need.
Yeah. Cizikas was picked up by Apple too, correct? You picked him up, yeah. Okay, so that he's 2 for 2 for the teams here. All right, so I'll go next, and then we'll go to Berlin. So I was GM for the Vegas Knights. So my biggest pickup was Gabriel Landeskog, and I put Landeskog at center ice. I moved him from the wing. I think the biggest thing with the Golden Knights, their depth at center is an issue, or maybe not an issue after you do that. But so at center, I have Landeskog, Carlson, Stevenson, and Roy. Those are my 4. On the right wing, I just left it alone. I went with Stone, Marchessault, Smith, and Reeves. Same with the left wing, guys. I went Pacioretty, Tuck, Coleman. Added Coleman to the lineup. He was my pickup for the left wing at 1.8. Coming off 2 Stanley Cups, playing for New Jersey. He's responsible on both ends of the ice. He plays 3 ends of the ice. He can play center as well for center depth. So I have a line of Stevenson at center with Smith and Coleman. And then my 4th line consists of Kolzar, Reeves, and Roy. Again, a little bit beef on that line there to play a little bit more of a heavier game. On defense, again, you can't go wrong. Pietrangelo, Theodore, McNabb, Haig. I really like Whitecloud. He looks like he's going to be an upcoming player, young guy. But I added Ian Cole for $4.2 million, a guy that can block shots, play in the dirty areas. He's an amazing PK guy. And Fleury, I traded Fleury away. He was my big guy to open up some cap space at $8 million. Fleury's gone. Robert Leonard is my main guy, with Peter Mrazek at 3.1 being the backup. And the reason why I traded Fleury is, number one, is that Leonard is at a $5 million cap hit. He's 27 years old. When you look at him, he looks like he's 65, but he is 27 years old. Okay. So I went with Leonard just because he's younger. He's a smaller cap hit, and I could, add a couple guys. So if you look at my lineup, Ian Cole, Landeskog, Coleman, and Mrazek are the guys that I picked up on this team to make it a little better to go against the Colorados of the world. So that is the Vegas Knights on my end. Any thoughts there, boys?
I like what you did, personally, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
I think they're built the right way. Good, but it's a lot. It's very easy doing this though when you got like the Leafs were the hardest one because they got no goddamn money. Like, it's an amazing exercise when you take the time to go through it about like how not to build a team and how to build a team.
Exactly.
Okay. Which is why these guys like Svechnikov that's going to get a 10-year deal. Like nobody understands how much that can screw you, man.
Yeah.
You're completely screwed with this shit. And it's like, and Dougie Hamilton's going to be the same way, man. Like, I don't know if you can pay that guy 10 sheets, man. Can't pay that guy 10 sheets, buddy. Can't.
Nick, I'll tell you one thing, Nick. That's a ballsy move getting rid of Fleury, because if it doesn't work out and you're actually the GM in Vegas because of his popularity,
you're not GM in Vegas anymore.
Well,
I won't be GM anymore.
I was going to say, if the first 30 games don't go good, you might be gone before halfway through the season.
But that's the same anywhere, Apple. Like if you make a controversial move and it works out, you're a genius.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, they'll feed it to the wolves. You can't win. You cannot win. Right?
Just with him being the face of the franchise from the minute they got to Vegas, that's ballsy. I think he actually did a good thing, but it's ballsy.
I just want to do a little shout out here to Christian Mazawi. He's a young hockey player, up and coming, really good talent. He's watching the lounge tonight. So hey, Christian, you know what? Yeah.
Is that a Milwaukee Bucks logo there?
I'm not sure what it is, but
yeah, it is.
Didn't they beat the Nets? I don't like Christian.
Hey, Christian, just want to say hi, bud. He's been watching a lot, and he's been saying hello, but he finally meant something, and so he said a good thing, so I put him on there. Hey, Christian.
Compliments to the first three guys for not buying the Zach Hyman Fool's Gold.
Exactly, right?
Oh,
yeah, for sure. So now we have a guy that's won back-to-back Stanley Cups. He's just sitting back, chilling out right now because you know what? Life is great in Tampa.
Life's not bad.
Yeah, life's not bad. So
life's not bad.
Are you going to go for a three-peat here, Berlon?
You have to. I mean, I don't see why you have to go into rebuild mode or try and minimize the damage mode. I didn't do that. So getting into it, guys I let walk. Gemel Smith at $700K, he's gone. Blake Coleman, you can't keep. He's a new father. He's from Texas. I see him trying to ink a long-term deal there. And the way he played in these playoffs after coming to Tampa, he's going to command big money. I know we're staying with their cap.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
but salary from last year, but you have to let him go. Barclay Goodrow, again, integral part in their win. He is a disposable component. He was acquired. He wasn't a draft pick or anything, but you have to get rid of him to allow leeway to sign young guys like Ross and Barre Boulet. David Savard. I should go through my walk guys first.
Yeah.
David Savard on the back end, who's 4.25, unrestricted. He's going to command a lot of money, and he'll be able to name his price elsewhere. So not going to keep him. Luke Shen at $800K. He's a cheap Band-Aid, but they need to free up we need to free up all the money we can. Yeah. And with him and Savard gone, you make room for a guy like Cal Foote, who's very good defenseman, young guy. Tampa loves to develop guys and stick with their draft picks. So that's who I got rid of to free up some cap space. I'm going to leave Tyler Johnson unprotected, going to the expansion draft. He's a Spokane native, and I'm sure they'd love for him to be a centerpiece in Seattle of all places. Nice. And I'm unloading $5 million, okay, because we all know I'm strapped for cash. Actually, fun fact, at the beginning of the season, he was put on waivers and he went unclaimed.
Yes.
So bad blood or not, whatever the case may be, I don't think he wants to be in Tampa anymore. His production's dropped off. So Tyler, have fun in Seattle. My big move is I am trading Andre Palat for draft picks. His production as well dropped off a bit. I know he played on the top line, but for $5.3 million, I think he'd be a good rental, bit of an expensive rental for a team that wants to make a run next year, either the Vegas Golden Knights or Carolina.
Hold on a sec. This is like Overdrive or what? With Old Dog's cat in the back?
Yeah.
Is this fuck? We got Apple's cat in the back like Overdrive.
I missed it.
Yeah, look at the tail. The tail's coming back in the back of the neck. Holy, we got the Old Dog number 2 here with the cats. Okay, sorry, Brent.
So those are the guys.
Have another cigar, buddy.
I know.
That party today on the boats was crazy, eh?
So those are the guys I let go. I'm signing Kucherov, Stamkos, Point, Gord, Sorelli, and Killorn. Okay.
Yeah.
Maroon at $900,000. He's one at the American League level. He's one at the NHL level. He's a big body.
Yeah.
He can kind of neutralize, guys like Ryan Reeves or some other heavy players from other teams. Stevens and Joseph, they're unbelievable young players. Ross and Barre Boulay, you have to give them chances. And I want to bring up, like when I played in the American League, Syracuse and Norfolk were Tampa's teams. And they were either Calder Cup finalists or winners or contenders every year but one. They won the division 3 or 4 times, and they kept their guys. And a lot of those guys that were there 8-9 years ago, they're still with Tampa. Your Yanni Gourds, your Johnsons, Savard. Those are guys that were all there. So we're going young, and they're going to fill shoes underneath those guys like Kucherov, Stamkos, Point. They got great role models. The one guy I'm bringing on forward is Luke Glendening from Detroit at $1.8 million. He played on a brutal team, was still +3, okay, logs big minutes, shuts down other teams' top centers. He's a great centerman, and putting up 15 points in 54 games. He's 7 points shy of what Johnson put up at $5 million. So Glendening's coming in at forward. On the back end, I'm keeping Hedman, McDonough, Sergachev, Ruta, Chernak. He's got 1 year left on his deal at 2.95. You'll get good money you'll get a good pick for him. I think Vancouver's looking for a defenseman, a right-handed D. I think you can get a good first-round pick from Vancouver for that kind of talent in Chernak. He had an unbelievable playoff. So I think his value right now, strike while the iron's hot, get as much as you can for him. And I'm bringing in Cody Ceci at 1.25. Big right-handed guy, mobile, put up 17 points, a couple less than Chernak, but for $1.7 million less, gets the job done. Again, I'm inserting Foot there. He's a good young defenseman. Sticking with the Tampa Bay, bring him through the system, keep him there a long time. Keeping Vasilevsky, letting Nielsen go at, I think he's like 2.95. All the other goalies are unrestricted free agents, McElhinney and Gibson. And I'm bringing in Chris, is it Drieger or Drieger?
Yeah.
From Florida. He's $850, okay? He's 27 years old, 14-6-3 as a backup to Bobrovsky. 2.07 goals against and a 927 save percentage. I think at $850, he is a steal as a backup goalie with those numbers.
Yeah,
He's not going to sign there though, but that's fine.
He's
playing within the rules.
He's driving.
He's gonna go back up Andre Vasilevsky after he just put up a career year. He's gonna go back up Andre Vasilevsky.
Win a cup. And it's just up the road from him. You go from
He's gonna get paid, man. He's gonna get paid, bro.
The Luke Glendening signing, was that a personal thing that you guys?
Yeah, because he was in his wedding party. They're like ass and underwear, man. Okay,
I put my bias aside.
I don't know about that. When I heard that signing,
to get him on the lounge, he's working Luke over to get him on the lounge.
Listen, I honest to God, I put my bias aside. He's played on a garbage team for the last since he turned pro.
Yeah.
Didn't you message him and tell him that you're taking him?
Yeah, it's gonna be no surprise.
Can we do the jersey presentation on the lounge? I want to do that. Yeah, baby.
Absolutely.
Eh?
No,
Steve, you guys will go crazy, right?
He's whenever the Detroit game's on, I don't really watch the game. I just watch him and I text him after and say great game, whatever. But there's a guy who he plays the game the right way. He's going to complement the culture in Tampa. You have those guys like Kucherov, Stamkos, Maroon, those older guys that command respect and they have that clout. And Luke does things the right way. Even when I play with him in college, like they call him the puck collector. In Detroit, he blocks so many shots.
Yeah.
He has to play golf in flip-flops because he can't wear golf shoes. His ankles are so destroyed. I'm not joking. I watched it happen. They said, can you put on shoes? He goes, no. Look at my feet. He ruined shoes. It's unbelievable. So he's coming in, and he's responsible. He fills that role that Johnson did as a high-energy PK guy. right? And that's what you need. That's part of Tampa's identity. Because if you're going to lose guys like Coleman and Goodrow, that are excellent PK guys, you have to replace them with somebody. And Glendenning's like the prime example of unreal PK guy who doesn't command a lot of money, $1.8 million.
I think the challenge for Tampa too is, we'll go around the horn, we'll go to App and we'll go to Paul, but the challenge here for Tampa is to replace those guys that they're like Coleman's, the Goudreaus, with guys like you said, the sandpaper guys, specialty guys, wins face-offs, PK, those type of guys. Because we just saw it. We saw it with the Lightning, we saw it with the Islanders, and we saw it with the Canadians. All those teams had guys like that. We were laughing watching the Canadians because every time there was a face-off, Philip Deneau was out there taking the face-off. Like every defensive face-off, he was out. It was incredible.
And to your point that you made earlier in the show, Tampa can roll 4 centermen. You just surround them with wingers that are going to play, and you're fine. And that's why, for a third, fourth line guy, Luke's my guy. Friend, teammate, wedding party or not.
He'd be good with the guys on Bay Street too, buddy.
So, what do you think about the Tampa Bay Lightning?
I think Berlin's got great ideas there. I think he's improved that team, but real life, I was actually just trying to look it up right now, but somebody just reported again that they're hearing chat out of Tampa already that Stamkos is going to be the guy to go.
Yeah, it's that was put out again today. Yeah.
But to that app, and I did hear that as well, and it's going to be the Dominic Hasek thing. I not remember, but I read up when that happened. He said, I don't want the team I'm going to giving up too much so that I go into like a rebuild, not a rebuild, but like they're severely short-staffed just for him getting there, right? Yeah. So I think if Stamkos does move, which I don't foresee happening, if he does move, it's whatever Tampa gets back is going to be interesting because I don't think he wants to go to like a non-contender.
You know where I heard he might go? Vegas.
For who? That's a lot of money to take on.
It's a lot of money, but again, the Vegas Knights are in a win now. This GM has a heart on. He wants a Stanley Cup like nobody else. He does. I'm telling you. Like you look at the moves he makes every offseason, they're always a big splash. George McPherson always dives in head first. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see if Stammer does get traded because, like you said, Berlana, that's a great point. Does he want to soak? Does he want that team to get soaked and he's going to go there and they're going to be missing pieces and maybe they don't make the playoffs? Maybe they're just a one-round team. Does he really want to finish his career like that?
Does he want to do that? And does Tampa want to not get anything in return?
Exactly.
But
that's to their detriment.
Yeah. But how much can Tampa realistically ask for? Like I know we're doing our exercise here, but like they got a lot of cap that they got to trim off. Like you add Kucherov to it, and they're way over this past season. So they've got to trim. Either they're going to lose 2 or 3 or possibly 4 guys in the $4 to $5 million range, or just lose the one guy.
But I got rid of those guys. Palat at 5, Johnson at 5, Chernak at 3, Savard at 4.5.
You got rid of those guys.
I'm $3 million under the cap.
Berlin, not you, Berlin. I'm not messing with your team. I went off topic, and I'm actually talking real life.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to want to get rid of those other guys.
Berlin, is that the first paper since Michigan or what?
Yeah, it's all plagiarized, just like it was back then,
guys. This Tampa situation is more an exercise in mathematics than it is in.
Okay.
But more math.
But Paul,
I got anxiety looking at it.
When we did this exercise, when we threw this out on Friday or whatever, right? Yeah. And we started diving into it. I'm sure you guys did too. You dive into some of these teams because I was just clicking on some of the teams, not even some of the random teams. Like you need that cap guy. You need it's all about the numbers. Right. So we're all talking about get this guy, get that guy, but it's what you have to get rid of to get the guy too. It's a tough business, man. Especially when you type your money, like you said, to guys like Hamilton for $10 million.
But okay, but here's the point, guys. Here's the point. So now we're talking about trading Steven Stamkos out of Tampa Bay, who signed that goddamn deal at $8.5 million, and now they're shoestruck. And Minnesota's going to do it with the Rookie of the Year. Calgary's going to be forced to do it, or Carolina's going to be forced to do it with one of Dougie Hamilton or Svechnikov. If they do it with both, they got no more goddamn money. They're going to play 7 skaters a night.
But it sets a bad precedence when guys do that.
Right? But what they do is they try to circumvent the cap, but then they handcuff themselves. The GMs handcuff themselves, which if you sign a guy to a 10-year deal, the chances of you sticking around as a GM for 10 years is not very good anyways. So you can kind of say, forget it, let it ride. Because if I don't win a cup here in the next 2 years, I'm out of here anyways.
This is breaking too, guys, just to let you know. So Ken Holland tells the media that the chances of Clefbaum playing in 2021-22 are very slim. That's just breaking right now. So Clefbaum could be gone another year, bringing Keith in. I guess there's more than meet the eye. Before we get into the Leafs there, sorry, you were going to say something? Go ahead.
I was just going to say that it seems to be like the teams that completely tear down and start young and start building their core through draft picks and everything like that, at some point you're going to get it in the ass. I go, look at the Devils. Sorry, I hate to go back to my team, but I mean, you got Nico Hischier, who just signed for 7.2. You got Jack Hughes now. You got Ty Smith. You got the number 4 pick coming up this year, who's, if he's any good at, a couple of years after that, you're going to have to make decisions at some point.
Right.
Like every team that goes.
You've got a window where you've got to get it right with the young guys to develop them. That's
exactly.
The key. You've got to get it right in their entry-level years, or you bridge them, or something along those lines. That's when you've got to get it right. Going out and like signing high-priced free agents, it's passé, buddy. Forget about it.
And that's why Tampa has been successful.
100%, Berlon.
And which I'm going to
100%.
And which I'm going to allude to when I was playing, and how good Syracuse and Norfolk were year in and year out. There was 1 year that I think they finished last in our division. Other than that, it was year in, year out, contenders. And you see now Tampa is reaping the benefits of those years.
Right.
But it's
100%.
consistent with teams that are always at the top, right?
Exactly.
The Boston Bruins are a perfect example, man.
Yep.
They got rid of Joe Thornton. It was the greatest thing they did 15 years ago, and they've been set up ever since, man. Okay? Right. They went out, they got Tuukka Rask from the Leafs. They have been set up every year, just churning out their own guys.
Yep.
And then just bringing in a few pieces here and there.
Yep.
It's perfect.
They're steady.
So before we get into the Leafs and go around the horn with GM of the Leafs, Michael Russo of Minnesota here is reporting. This was reported today too and we're just talking about this Kaprizov, the Rookie of the Year. His camp has just rejected an 8-year deal for an average around $9 million a year. He just rejected that. $9 million a year, 8-year deal. He's rejected it. So, Paul, there you go. There's your theory right there. It's bang on, right? Like this guy here.
I'm gonna go play in the KHL and make 12.
Well, we've seen what he's done for 1 year, but that's just a sample size, right? What I always believe in it's got to be 2 to 3 years, because the fact of the matter is, D don't know how to play against you. You're new to the league. Coaches have to figure you out how to play against you. It's just like a Matt Murray, for example. He won back-to-back cups in 16, 17. The guy's a sieve now, right? Guys know where his glove hand is weak and his weak spots are. And just like a player, you got to see him play at least 2 years to really know what he can bring to the table. Question. Let's talk about the Leafs here for just a couple of seconds before we go around the horn with the Leafs and our rosters and our changes for the Leafs. So there was a UFC fight on Saturday night, and I'm sure everybody saw highlights or whatnot. And it seems like the boys are hanging out together. Not sure if you guys saw that, but you had Austin Matthews, Mr. Joe Thornton, and you had Freddie Anderson at the fight. Now, if you're a Leaf fan, are you concerned? Because we said it last week on the show, Anderson and Matthews are tight. Is Joe Thornton going to become the Patrick Morleau, dad number 2? To me, it seems like they're bringing back the get-along gang here for another year, signing Spezza, signing Simmons. Is Thornton coming back? Is Freddie's reported that he wants to come back to the Leafs? Like, Are they just going to go over again? They signed Dermott. I'm not sure about Dermott. Why they even signed him? So what do you think, guys? Is the get along gang coming back to TO, or are we going to see something different here?
Well, Matthews is from Arizona, which is a 20-minute plane ride from Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jumbo Joe doesn't want to be around here right now, and he's got his place in San Jose. So there's two guys that are hop, skip, and a jump from the fight.
Yeah.
And Anderson and Matthews, you said, are buddies?
Yeah.
Well, they're best buddies, man. They're
best
together.
buddies. Yeah. Well, look at that. Anderson's 20 minutes from Vegas, so don't look too far into it.
Okay. You're saying don't look too far into it.
That's where I'm going with that.
Okay. All right. Up. What are your thoughts?
I don't think there's the way the goaltending situation happened at the end of the year. I think Dupus looks stupid if he brings back Anderson. I think he looks even stupider if he brings in Thornton for what he did. They were both big mistakes to be brought back. No.
Guys, the goaltending situation it's very delicate, man, because I don't know what the hell they're going to do. Like, listen, I sat here and I sang Jack Campbell's praises, but I'm not prepared to go 100%. Like, I need a little bit of a backup option where, like, you bring in a guy like Mike Smith on a 1-year deal, maybe to just shore it up, but I don't think Mike Smith's the answer either.
But are you Mike Smith's agent? Because you're really calling him out tonight. You're bringing him to Carolina. You bring him to the Leafs.
No, Nick.
Does he have a place up in Collingwood or what? What's going on over there with Mikey Smith?
Buddy, who else can you get for $1.5 million when you got $9 million to spend?
Oh, you gotta be creative, Paul. Hang on a second.
Okay, I understand. but in the exercise that we're doing, I'm not trading Mitch Marner for draft picks because it doesn't shore up any immediate need. So, like, I'm very against in this exercise trading guys for draft picks unless you have guys that can fill into the system. They don't got guys that can fill into the system. So I'm not going to trade a guy to get picks. In real life, I'm going to do everything in my power to try to move Mitchell Marner to shore up some of the weaknesses on the club, which is like I trade Mitch Marner for 2 Alex Kerfoots in a second, man. I'd trade him for 2 Alex Kerfoots in a second, okay? And that would alleviate a lot of my problems. But in this exercise, you can't trade the guy for draft picks because you're not filling anything. You're just.
Well, we're gonna go around the horn and see what we did with these draft picks or the money or these $10 million, $11 million guys. So I know that probably the Leaf fans after viewing this, we'll see what they say. We might get some comments. We'll take it from there. But Apple. Your Toronto Maple Leaf team. And again, this is just a fun exercise for viewers that are maybe tuning in or going to watch this later tonight or whatnot. We are going over the top 5 betting odd teams to win the Cup next year. It was Colorado, Vegas, Tampa Bay Lightning. Then it was your Carolina Hurricanes, and the Leafs and Boston Bruins were tied at the 5th spot. So we went over the first 4 teams. Now we're going over the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we are the GMs of the night here for those particular teams. This is the big one. This is where the Leafs, it took me a long time to go over this roster. It took me half a day today to do this. So Apple, your Toronto Maple Leaf team.
Okay. So what I did was I started, again, it's only for this exercise, Paul, don't get mad.
Yeah,
I traded John Tavares for picks. I think John Tavares was the biggest mistakes the Leafs made in the last 5 years that caused all this shit. Anyway, I traded Tavares. So I've obviously kept Matthews. I've kept Marner. I've kept Nylander. I've kept Kerfoot. I've even kept Mikheyev and Simmons and Engvall and Spezza. We're all under contract. To replace Tavares' output, I added Alex Chason, Brandon Saad, Brock McGinn, and I brought up Nick Robertson. That promoted him to the big club. So I've obviously let Hyman walk. I've let Galchenyuk walk. I've let Thornton and Foligno walk.
You like Nick Robertson, eh?
He's a goal scorer. He seems to be a goal scorer. He's got a pretty good shot, and I think those guys are invaluable, especially on your bottom 6. If you get a guy that can put the puck in the net every third game, so be a 20-goal scorer, I think they're huge. I think he's got the potential to develop into that kind of player. On the back end, I kept Muzzin, Riley, Brody, Hall, and Dermott. I've kept those 5. What I've done was, instead of bring up Sandin or Liljegren, because I don't think they can be trusted yet from what we've seen, I've actually added Alexiak to the mix with the money that we've saved from Tavares. And
I
then,
added him as well.
and then here you go. With all the money we saved, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to say the Leafs are going to go out and get Tuukka Rask as their goalie.
Bring him back, eh?
Bring him back and leave Campbell as the backup. I said it on the last show that I was with Nick. I am one guy that's just hell bent that if you don't have a solid goalie,
I agree.
you've lost half the battle.
But are you not missing one defenseman?
No, I got Muzzin, Riley, Brody, and Hall is 4.
Yeah.
Dermott, I said to bring back an Alexiak.
He's got 6.
Yeah. And your forwards are up?
Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Kerfoot, Mikheyev, Simmons, Engvall, Spezza, Alex Chason, Brandon Saad, Nick Robertson, and Brock McGinn.
Yeah. So I like the McGinn. Julian brings up the point you can't move Tavares. He's got no trade clause. We got that. There's a number of things in this exercise, guys. This is just for fun again.
Yeah.
But
sorry, Nick. For me, it was Tavares or Marner. That's what I was deciding on those 2. So if it'd be Marner, it'd be Marner. I just took Tavares because I think he's the least of the hockey player.
Okay.
But he's a better guy, man. He's got more character.
All right, so
What are you
there's
laughing
your
at?
Leaf team. We'll see.
What are you laughing at, Berlin?
So
Character.
yeah.
Always
So,
character.
I'm gonna give you my Leaf team.
That's what
guys,
Mitchell
here.
Stevens should be shipped out of Tampa.
All right, so Paul, just put your thing on mute and then chime in because you're the wind chimer tonight with that mic. But and then you can drill me. Just open up your mic here. So my lineup here, guys, for the Leafs. My first big move was trading Mitchell Marner. I think he's shown his true colors here over the last couple playoff runs. He's a perimeter player. I just don't think he's got what it takes to get this team to the next level. I think there needs to be a change of culture. I think you need to, get Matthews and Marner away from each other. I think that could be a problem too. So I traded Mitchell Marner for picks. Again, it's just an exercise. So what I did with that money is, so my first line would be Austin Matthews. I signed Gabriel Landeskog to the left wing. I brought in and then Nylander on the right wing. That's my first line. The second line is Jonathan Tavares at center with Nick Robertson on the left wing. He's going to be bumped up. I agree with that. And I also want to see what you got in the system. I think it's time for a change, a culture change, an atmosphere change with this group. I don't think you need all these veteran leaderships because it means shit at the end of the day. If you have 1, maybe 2, maybe, that's good for the locker room, but to bring 5 or 6 guys in to become the Muskoka 5 and join Darcy Tucker and all the other boys, Shane Corson up in Muskoka, you don't need that. And then I brought in Blake Coleman. So I have Tavares, Robertson, and Coleman on one line. That would be my second line. My third line is Kerfoot at center. I brought in Goudreau on the left wing. And I brought in Brock McGinn on the right wing. Speed, tenacity, hard on the puck, compete level, always on the puck. They want the puck. You need guys like that. The Leafs don't have guys like that. Slow. Their bottom 6 were slow this year. And I brought up Adam Brooks to be the fourth line center. Again, I want to see what he has. I want to see what's going on with him. And then I brought back Wayne Simmons for one more ride. I think at 900 that he signed for, give him another ride. And then I brought in Corey Perry at 750. And that would be my fourth line with Perry at the right wing with Simmons and Brooks at center. A little bit more, again, tenacity and grind. On the back end, I traded TJ Brody. And I know Leaf fans are going to say I'm absolutely crazy. I don't see a purpose for this guy on the team. In Calgary, he was on the PP. He was, more of a points guy. I just got a text about Spezza. No, Spezza's at Sports Village, Pete, right now, getting ready to get on the ice. Okay. No more Spezza for me. Thank you. Again, don't hold on to memories of last year's playoffs. He's a year older, and you need tenacity. You need grit. You need guys like a Yanni Gord, Coleman Goudreau, guys that are always on that puck. So on the back end, I did trade Brody, and I brought in Hamilton. I brought in Mike Riley from the Bruins. I like him. I think he's a good young defenseman, 1.5, 27 years old. Justin Hall, Muzzin, Riley, and Sandin. And then, my big splash in the back end was Tuukka Rask and Campbell. And so I have a lot of guys up front that are not making $1 million as cap friendly right now. So my cap hit altogether was $76 million with that roster. And the reason why is because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys up front that are not making $1 million right now. So, but again, it's a different look, and if you look at the bottom 6, it's guys that want a puck. They're hungry guys. So, and I brought in Hamilton, that number 1 D. Again, Paul, you're probably right. He's going to get like $8 or $9 million. It's probably out of the wheelhouse there, but take that responsibility of Morgan Riley being the number 1 guy, right?
Yeah, you should have traded him. You shouldn't have traded the other guy. Morgan Riley's the guy that got to be traded, buddy.
Yeah, but
TJ Brody's better, buddy.
He's 30 years old, right? Morgan Riley has 1 more year left on his contract. Let's go 1 more run with him. I'm not a fan of Brody. I think he doesn't know what he wants to be. And also, too, he reminds me of – he had a good solid year, but I think they got him to be more of a PP guy, and he wasn't really. He didn't bring anything. I think he scored his first goal, like, towards the end of the season. I'm not sure if you can – but yeah, no.
The number 1 defenseman on this team is Jake Muzzin, which is an issue of itself.
Exactly, right? And that's 5.6. Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. Jake Muzzin is the number 1 defenseman. Everybody can talk what they want about Morgan Riley.
Yeah.
He's not a number 1 guy.
No, he's not. No. Okay. I think he's a top 4 guy, Morgan Riley. That's it.
So he's the guy that's got to go.
Okay.
But
all right.
I did a way more primitive analysis because I was just like, these guys are screwed. Nobody's going to want these guys. You're not going to be able to trade these guys. Okay, so I was a little more pragmatic about it.
But just remember, Marner is tradable, though. 100% he is.
Yeah, but I didn't like the exercise. I didn't look at it really that way, right? Like, I just looked at it as, I'm stuck with these guys. Let me replace them with, like, UFAs. So compared to what UFA did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what like they lack is a lot what Carolina lacks, right? So I went out and I got Mike Riley at the back end. I got Mike Smith to be my goaltender to help Jack Campbell because Freddie Anderson's
So you think Jack Campbell and Mike Smith is going to get you out of the first round?
I'm saying it from a perspective of you only have $9 million to spend. So I really did it from I'm not trading anything in and out. I'm forced with these guys because I didn't want to just ship guys. Like I felt like I was cheating. You know what I mean? Like they're not trading Mitch Marner for draft picks. I can tell you.
No. I get that.
Right?
No, 100%. I get that.
So I just struggled with that in my head. So I said, well, what am I going to do? And with the cap space that they got, you really got slim pickings, man. Like Casey Cizikas is a guy I'd bring in at 3.35. And then Luke Glendening or Barclay Goodrow are 2 other guys that I'd bring in to be those 2 other forwards because I love Adam Brooks, by the way. I think he's the right player. Yeah. And then at the back end, I was Mike Riley, and I was going to bring Zach Bogosian back. Okay? But going through it now and looking at Alexiak at 6'7", he's a guy that I'd probably like because I still had some cap room left with the Leafs because I didn't spend a lot of money on goal or anything like that. But I was really looking at it like I'm really hampered here. So, like, he's got to trade one of those 3 guys. He's got no choice. Like, because I racked my brain through this, guys, and I was just like, he's got to trade one of these guys. This is impossible unless he's going into the season with Jack Campbell.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. The rumors had already started as soon as they got eliminated. There was already Marner linked to the Devils. Like, I mean,
and it's got to be Mitch Marner.
It's got to be.
It can't be.
Nobody else. If he's done. If he doesn't trade him, he's done. Or if he goes into the season with Mike Smith and Jack Campbell, he's finished. That's it.
It's over.
What does he do? What does Doofus do? Does he leave himself only to trade with a team that's got a big name
let's
goalie?
hope that he's not hard-headed.
He's going
That
to
he
go money
doesn't
for money.
I don't know.
Like, you know what I mean?
Listen, I don't know. I don't know.
If
He
he wants-
can't go
if-
money for money.
So what I'm saying is if he wants to get Dougie Hamilton, and we know he's going to go for 8-9, maybe even north of that. If you trade Marner, what can you get back other than picks and prospects? If you go about it that way, if you want to get a half decent hockey player back for Marner, even if it's somebody that's $5 or $6 mil, now you're cutting down how much money you have left for your goalie or your D. Like Nick hit it on the head with your bottom six. You need grit and determination to win in the playoffs, not these guys that are 87 years old.
I agree.
I you know what, Paul, with like even that $9 million, like maybe you look at a guy that, you know, a guy for like you said, maybe Morgan Riley, $5 million, you clear up that $5 million, right? And that brings you up to what, 14 million cap space, right?
Like I'd get rid of Riley for Alexiak and keep the $2.5 million in my jeans all day long. All day long, man.
But okay, so me being a Penguins fan, I've seen Jamie Olesniak. He is a big guy, but you know what? What most people don't know, and I remember, I watch every Penguins game.
I know.
He doesn't play big.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about that guy.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? He's got some offensive flair to his game, but he doesn't play big. Like, and that was the frustrating part for Mike Sullivan, is that you think he would come out with the puck in puck battles in the corners. Paul, I'm telling you, like Tyler Johnson would come out of the puck, out of the corner with the puck on this guy, right? But the one thing about him, he's 6'7", like you said, and he can skate. So he's a good deal.
Also,
right.
Don't forget about Brandon Carlo too, who's a nice piece.
Oh yeah, Like, hey, I struggle with Corrali too. Corrali's a nice piece to pick up, man. Good player.
Brandon Carlo's really good, man.
Yeah, but he's got the concussion things the last couple of years too. You know.
Yeah.
So that's why I steered away. But I did have Mike Riley, just so you know.
Yeah, Mike Riley seems to be a decent pickup.
So there's no way around this unless they trade somebody. Sorry to
exactly.
take too much time, but they're completely screwed.
Nick was probably in the same boat as I was. The only way we can put this team together was to trade one of the guys.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
If I had to do it over again, I would have done it the way you guys did it, but nevertheless.
No, I know. You want to, yeah, for sure. So Julian's always chiming in here about his Toronto Maple Leafs. Guys matter. Guys, Marner's 24 euros and the top 5-point player. Do you really want to take that chance and trade him or give it one more year? Are you ready, Julian, for one more year of disappointment? Because that's what you're going to get with this group. It's time for a change.
It's not a function of whether or not he's a good player. It's a function of how he fits into the bigger picture. That's the issue.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you need – in an army, you need all kinds of different ships. You just can't have fighter jets. You need some tanks. You need some submarines. You know what I mean? You just don't go out there with fighter jets.
And listen, when you have a fighter jet, that fighter jet better be Top Gun. And he wasn't Top Gun in the playoffs, man. Right?
So you got no choice.
Right? He was more like Iceman instead of Maverick.
Like Julian, I wouldn't mind keeping Marner around if they never signed Tavares. We might be talking like this if they didn't sign Tavares.
But I think that
I'd take Tavares over Marner though. I'm not a Marner fan, man.
I think that room, guys, is too soft and too easy with these guys running the ship. Marner, Matthews. I think it's more of a social club.
I don't think they're being held accountable by management. Nick, I heard that even when it was at the end of Lou Lamoriello's tenure here, the whole reason why he didn't push harder to try and stay, even though they said they was here only for the 3 years to train Doofus, was because the Leaf man or Shanahan and whoever above him said, you're going to get Tavares. He's a homeboy. He wants to come home. You're going to get him. It doesn't matter what it costs. He didn't want him. He never won anything. He didn't prove anything. And then Lou goes to the team that the captain is leaving. And look at what he's done with that team. I think this is management or ownership that just decided that we're going to go get Tavares. You can't have the 4 guys, like I said last year. You can't have 4 guys up front making this kind of money and succeed.
Do you want to know what I have written? Do you want to know what I have written in my notes?
Yeah, go. You got to give your team. Go.
Okay, so
yeah.
I'm just going to be echoing and regurgitating everything you guys said.
Yeah, okay.
So to spare everyone, we're not going to go there. But it's funny after that exact sentence. between Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander, 48% of the team's cap goes to those four guys. Okay. Comparatively, in Tampa, to get 48% of the team's cap, you got Kucherov, Stamkos, Point, Hedman, and McDonough. Okay. How are you supposed to contend for a cup when almost half your team's cap goes to guys that haven't won anything?
Yep.
Look at the Leafs roster. The only guys with a cup are Muzzin from almost 10 years ago with that dynasty in Los Angeles, and Bogosian with Tampa last year.
Yep.
Who else you got? It's a culture problem, and you hit the nail on the head. The Leafs, listen to this, before Lou Lamoriello showed up, they made the playoffs once in 10 years. The second and third year of Lamoriello's tenure, they made the playoffs, okay? Fun fact, to date, when Lamoriello was in Toronto, it was the only time he didn't have final say in hockey matters.
Yep.
So what you said about saying the Leafs management saying you're getting Tavares, he had no say. He wouldn't have done it. He would not have done it.
He wouldn't have done it.
And I can speak firsthand about your beloved Devils. I was there. I was there for 5 years. Okay, so whatever. Yeah, 5. And the culture there. Okay, even though you had Marty Brodeur, Patrick Elias, Ilya Kovalchuk, Andy Green, those guys hanging out there, it was even keel. Okay, there was no Ozzy running around, Mitch doing his funny little commercials, none of that. Okay, it was business. You had your fun, but there was a job to be done, and there was no riffraff, no nothing. Everyone was clean shaven, the same way you probably saw the Leafs for those 3 years. Okay, hair cut short, not militaristic, but you knew who was in charge and you towed the line. Okay, and I think the issue in Toronto is not cap space, not signings, not anything. It's a culture problem. Okay. That's for me. That's what it is, and you have to straighten it out.
It's like I think they went with Doofus just because he's young and they're going to tell him what to do. Like I mean, you go back to Lou. What you were just saying with Lou was in Jersey. Like Mogilny, when Mogilny left to come to Toronto, he went to Lou and he said, "Look, the Leafs are offering me this, whatever it was. I don't remember what the dollar amount was at the time." He said, "The Leafs are offering me this. If you match, I'm staying." He said, "I can't pay you that. You're going to be making more than Elias and all these other guys that are here. You're not. I can't pay you that. Go."
Yes, but he knew that if McGillney was making more than those guys, it's not good for the room. People are like, "What are you playing favorites with him? Whatever."
Yeah.
And he's a smart enough guy. He's been around long enough to know that just to make McGillney happy, you're going to piss off 8-9 guys, and you don't need that.
Yeah. No.
Right?
No. And going back to what you were saying about Marner and the commercials and stuff like that, in Jersey, they had a rule. You can't do commercials. You play on this team, you play for your crest. I don't want your face anywhere else. They never did commercials when Lou Lamoriello was in charge of New Jersey. The player belongs to the team.
Yep. Not another entity. You're right.
Nope.
Yeah. So what type of moves did you make, Berlin, for your team? Did you?
I got rid of Riley.
Yeah.
He was the first one. He was the first one to go. Save yourself $5 million.
Yeah.
I got rid of Marner.
Yeah.
Because at $11 million, okay, 10-9, $11 million. Can you justify what he's done from a success perspective? Personal success, yeah, great. Put up all the points you want. Okay, you want to be the next. And I'll say this about maybe not Matthews, but like Tavares, Marner, Nylander. Do you want to be the next Jeff Skinner? The guy's played like 600 career games and not a playoff game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable player. What does he make? Just for the sake of it.
I think he makes. What does he make? $9 million. Skinner makes $9 million.
$9 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 on the budget. He's still signed through 26, 27.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And he's still with Buffalo. Like you think they're not kicking themselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Granted, he put up 14 points last year, 23, 63 his first year in Buffalo. Like the numbers are justified. But do you think those teams are happy?
No.
And the Leafs shouldn't be either.
What did you do with the goaltending aspect? Because I think that's the very interesting. Because again, Paul's philosophy, again, he was more, really, really not, being with money sensitive in terms of not trading Marner or whatnot. So he did the best he could to upgrade the goaltending somewhat with Mike Smith and Campbell. What did you do? Because you got rid of Riley and you got rid of Marner. So who did you bring in?
I got rid of Campbell as well. And like I said, I was going to regurgitate a bit.
Yeah.
I brought in Drieger.
Yeah.
Okay. He's getting the starting job with Mike Smith as the backup.
Interesting.
Call me crazy.
You're not much further ahead. With Campbell and Smith.
Hey, but I'm just asking you guys. There's the one goal
you said before. Drieger came off a career year behind Bobrovsky.
Yeah, but he's not going to back up Vasilevsky. That was my point, man. Like, who's going to back up Vasilevsky? The guy that needs a pension check for $1 million a year to play once a month, like Curtis McElhinney.
But don't forget. We're going back into a full season.
Yes.
We're talking Tampa.
Yes.
Okay, just went to the end of the playoffs. Vasilevsky played twice.
Yeah.
Did Vasilevsky play every game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
McElhinney is back up, buddy.
Yeah, you can't ride Vasilevsky to the end of next season.
It goes against the point that I said, but that's not the kid. You can get with a 35-year-old guy.
Hey, maybe Paul.
Mike Smith. Smith.
I was just saying that, buddy. Mikey Smith at Tampa Bay. Right?
But in the event,
for Mikey Smith, there's a market for Mikey Smith, man.
We're not just thinking backups here, okay?
Guy's a nail gun. He'll brawl too.
Listen, in the event of an injury to a guy like Vasilevsky, okay, you can put him on long-term IR and bring in, like, you sign a big free agent while Drieger takes the net, okay? The guy's caught. Sorry,
Drieger's not going there.
But this is not this is not an exercise in factuality. This is an exercise in exercising.
Yeah. This is for
I maybe looked at it like a little too real life like.
Yes. Santi's real life.
You guys are coming up the show now, man. Okay. You guys are coming up the show.
No. This is good. So did you make any big splash there, Berlin, with the Leafs in terms of up front on D? Anybody that you brought in or to solidify or?
You brought in Luke Glendening for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I said, I was going to regurgitate. That's why I wanted to get more into the
I'm telling you, man.
Okay. Let's ask him this question. Berlin, did you bring in your old roommate, Greg Patterin?
I looked at him, though. I looked at him, hey, Paul? I looked at him for Vegas.
You know what? For what you get with Greg, it's not a bad deal. He eats big minutes on the PK. He's heavy, mobile for a big dude. Like I think he's like 6'3", 220. Would complement a guy like Dermott, who is mobile but not as heavy. Because I think the way the Leafs are slanted right now with their D, it's kind of like this. Like, you got your heavy guys up here, and then you got your softies. Like, really, Morgan, Hall,
no heavy guys on the back end.
Dermott, Sandin, like,
that's it.
Yeah, and that's it, right?
Yeah, they're soft on the back end.
So yeah, you can bring in a guy like Patterin, right? Yeah. Maybe even make us, you get rid of Riley, bring in a guy like Savard. Heavy shot, heavy dude, mobile, just won a cup with Tampa. Be up in the $5 million range, kind of like a trade. So I think I brought in Savard as well on D.
All right.
Good.
So, boys, I know this was a longer one tonight. We went an hour and 20. We're still going here. So on the podcast on Thursday night, I asked Vic was on there, same with App, and Dom was on as well. I asked the question, and this will be the last question of the night here. And again, we are going to put these rosters together. We're going to send them on NHL 21. We are going to see if Mike Smith can hold his end of the bargain here and come up big. We're actually going to call it, this show is going to change from the Hockey Lounge to the Mike Smith and Luke Glendening show. So Apple gave his opinion. He can give it again. Do you think the Tampa Bay Lightning three-peat here? Berlin. Real life, not this exercise.
Real life?
Yeah, real life, yeah.
They'll be there. They will be there.
Okay, so they'll be in the Cup final, but will they repeat?
If they can stay healthy, yeah.
Okay.
If they can stay healthy. I think they have the deepest team in the NHL. and that goes a long way in terms of playoffs.
For sure. I agree. Paul?
So I'm putting the money on them.
All right.
I think they're good enough. I have concerns that they can withstand the amount of hockey they played in such a short period of time. And
Right.
history will tell us that they cannot. So I am going to say they cannot three-peat. But they're good, man, and they're built
They're
the right
good. Yeah,
They're
100%.
built the right way. So
Yeah.
let's take nothing away from that. This is like just survival of the fittest. The
Yeah.
amount of hockey they played in a short period of time.
Well,
I say no, just based on history.
2 cups, guys, in 282 days. How crazy is that? How crazy is that?
It's impressive.
It's impressive.
Right? Yeah. And Hop, you said, just a reminder, what did you say last week?
I
think you
said no.
No. Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
going the distance that they have the last 2 years and going a full 82 games, I don't think they can, especially considering I don't see how they can resign Goodrow or Coleman because they're going to get big raises, and I think they're going to have to lose at least one of the big ticket guys, if not a couple of the medium ticket guys. So I think they're going to lose a bit off their roster. Can they do it? They can. I don't think they can. I don't believe they can. But yeah, you're right. They are damn deep.
All right. So, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, we are going to be having a few weeks here that we're going to be on 2 or 3 times a week. We have the unprotected list that is coming out on Sunday. Who's going to be unprotected for the Seattle Kraken first NHL draft on July 21st. Then we have the NHL draft on July 23rd, and then free agency at the end of the month. So we are going to be rocking and rolling next week, 2 or 3 podcasts. There might be one coming up here. We might have a surprise guest. We should be finding out later tonight. We might be going live on Wednesday. Check out for the posting on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, as well as our Instagram account. Again, if you want to become a lounge member, hit that subscribe button below or follow us on Instagram. Thank you to Brandon, Paul, and Apple for being on the show tonight. It was a great exercise, a lot of fun. I know Paul is he still wants real life. We'll get into real life when it comes down to real numbers. We'll see where all these chips fall in the next couple of weeks. Thank you to all the viewers who watched, and again, who's watching after the show. Again, we really rocked that last podcast. Thank you again. Have a great night. Stay safe, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Take care, guys.